hoping to see was it's different than what you guys are doing in the back of the ball. What were you hoping to see in today's game?
It's a little different. I mean, we think it was more straight, was the way you want to describe it. We're just looking ahead for next season. Is it the shape that might fit this team better based on some personnel? We've typically played the four, and it's been good for us. I'm not. I think a lot of it, people get called in formations. It's really the roles that you give within those formations, honestly. But I do feel that this could be something that could be good for our group. So we want to introduce it. We haven't really trained much in it, honestly. There's a lot to improve on, get better, but I want to do it with a couple spring games versus preseason only. And it could be where we play out of both, depending on the opponent, how our personnel is. But we have more true center backs than we've ever had, which might make this.
What have you seen out of that formation in the spring games?
Well, that's the first time we played with them. I thought it caused them some trouble. We had a lot of the ball. I mean, they have a lot of good spacing naturally with that shape. I thought we were able to control the tempo pretty easily the first 30. The last 10 was a little funky with all the restarts, but it's a tough. It's windy. The field's bouncy. It's not easy passing game. You saw that. We had made way too many giveaways, but I thought the dogs were pretty good. Their spacing was pretty good, so I'll focus more on that. Across some programs, you can see us able to get our wing backs up. They were able to find quite a bit of space. Obviously, that's how we got that second goal. I think it might help for some guys to be able to make it a little bit simpler up front, not having a 9 and 10 have to work off each other. They're a little bit just more natural space, the way we might play that box. So again, it gets back to personnel. This might be the right fit, but first look at it, there's some positives.
Can you talk about Harm started in goal today rather than Pratt? Can you talk about his performance and also what's going on with Pratt?
Pratt's injured right now, so he'll be back obviously for the fall. We don't know how long he'll be out, maybe 6 weeks or so. So obviously gives a great opportunity to see JT. Those two had a really good battle, and Austin's done really well. I didn't use him today, but I just needed to get JT as many minutes with this group as we could. So it's been a good battle, and we'll see how it plays out heading into the fall.
You mentioned the center backs. How differently can they play when there's three of them across the back?
Well, I mean, it might allow us to put Muni as a right center back, which really could be nice because he can get forward. And again, I think we have the right pieces to play that way. Our endcomer could be right in the center of that. We have versatility with BB can play in those spots. Joey obviously can play left center back. We got good options. So, Muni gets a little bit kind of bored in the center, but I couldn't use him other spots today because we didn't have that other piece. Joey could play there, but I wanted to get more reps in his left foot. So, Muni, we take a little bit in midfield. It's not to say we won't do that, but I think naturally he feels a lot better with the whole field in front of him. And he did well defensively, but he's a better passer than today. And again, I attribute that to a little bit of the conditions, and the field's pretty jumpy right now.
Oh, sorry, keep going. I thought you were done. Were you done? Sorry about that. I'm told. No, I was just going to say, how excited are you to incorporate the freshmen in the fall and also the new transfer from Xavier Miller once the fall starts, because they're not here yet?
Yeah, that's part of what when you're putting players in spots right now, we were thinking about, okay, when the new pieces come, which ones could help and where would they help? And that's part of why we're also taking with this system. It might be easier for a couple freshmen to play up in those three positions, kind of in that box and one, than putting them wide in midfield. There's a lot more defensive responsibility. Our wing backs will be most likely guys that have been here for a while that can do the work and also understand the defensive side of it. So we're imagining what it might look like with those freshmen. Miller is definitely an essential defender, and he's very good, and we know he can give us some toughness, some fight, some more athletic qualities. So we're excited to get Jansen here.
Coach, first half a bit of a struggle going forward, creating chances, but second half the game really opened up. Lots of attackers in many positions. How would you assess your team going forward today?
Well, I thought the first 30 we had a lot of them, but we weren't necessarily box or all dangerous. In the second half, I thought we were much dangerous going to goal, yet we didn't control the game as well as I liked in periods. A lot of that was the passing quality let us down in moments that we should have had another sustained possession or attack. So it was interesting, the tale of two halves. First 30, kind of in control, maybe a little bit too comfortable or not that conviction to get in the box or make a play. Second half opened up a little bit. They opened up touches. I thought Whitney Brinkman was a wing back, really kind of created a lot for us. And that's a secondary role that he might play, and that's where the space was. And he's one of our better attackers. He's got good ideas. His final product's good. So it played dividends, obviously, in the second goal. But yeah, it was interesting that first 30. It felt like we could have walked away with more chances. If you look back at the video to see kind of where those mishaps were, or maybe where guys could have been more aggressive that weren't.
And at left back today, Patrick McDonald played for a majority of the first half there. How would you assess his performance today?
Well, Patrick is a true player in that system. He can get up and down. His aerobic capacity is the highest on our team, and he has a bit of all those qualities. He won't have to be in the box as much defending, where he still needs to grow a little bit physically, but he's educated. He has a nice left foot. He can get up and down. He can offer. He's smart. So it's really tailored for a skill set similar to Malone. Just got to get the box area, both of them, a little cleaner. But from 18-18, those two can do the work and cover ground and fill a lot of important roles, whether that's recovering the weak side defensively or getting the box. It's a lot of running, and those two have a lot of those abilities.
Fucking Bale looked really dangerous at times coming up on the right side. Is that the spot you can kind of see him at going forward?
Yeah, Malone, again, every kind of new role or opportunity gives a player kind of new life, and it's sometimes a system with a player can obviously be a kind of a trigger for them to maybe feel more confident. And that was part of it too, is just kind of mixing it up a touch. And some guys feel like, oh, here's a new opportunity maybe for me. And we've given that to Malone. He's done well these last kind of 2 weeks since we kind of implemented this. And he's a player that we've counted on before. Malone's area that he needs improvement is that final product. Getting goals and assists. Maybe with another player in the box, maybe that unbalancing is all he needs to do. And he had a couple nice serves in, come balanced well. Maybe I'm lucky not to get a finish off today, a couple blocks, but I thought he was effective in his role.
For Henderlong up front, didn't have a great clear-cut chance, but got a goal in the end off the pressing. How big of a boost is that to kind of get one across the line somehow? It
was important for him. I mean, Carson is, he's a player that has, come here to, he wants to be entitled to opportunities, and he wants to get uncomfortable. He knows that, he's got to be pushed. There's other guys that can play. We rotated pretty heavily today. I don't know if we'll do that in the fall, but we certainly have good weapons. But his physicality is where it's different. And, he held the ball well at times today, but still needs to do better for us in that area. And then ultimately just being a player that draws attention. And we can bounce off of him to find maybe our attackers underneath him in that box or get it wide. So he'll be helpful for us. I think he's still learning the teammates and what guys' strengths and areas of improvement need to be, but he's been a real pleasant surprise, and he'll continue to be. But yeah, I love that's one of my favorite goals. That's just some guys get narrow and small. He stayed big, so I celebrate.
I know it's been a few weeks since the coaching staff change kind of happened. How's that transition going? Probably easier because it's in the spring now as opposed to.
Yeah, I mean that's the time we did it. We did it specifically in that time of the year because of there's a lot going on, but at the same time it's not. If something didn't happen today, perfect. This is a time to get some things cleaned up. Gives us a chance to have the new staff with them the second part of the spring, from kind of spring break on. Obviously the staff, we're going to miss the staff that has moved on, but the new guys have done a great job, and they're not new to IU. So, it's familiar faces. They understand the culture, just different personalities. And guys, I think, they benefit the most because they took all the great things that they brought, and the guys that have moved on, now we get the new guys in. It's been fun, and I feel like they can help us continue to move forward.
Does it make a difference with the staff maintaining the culture of a program to have guys come in like that and already know what's going on here?
Well, yeah, it does help. I don't think it's a prerequisite they have to, but we fortunately have guys that have gone on to do some things that are waiting for those opportunities. So you do look at across all sports, some of those programs that are able to bring back those that have been in it. There's a different level of understanding, commitment, love for the program, and it's just a different passion. In the end, it doesn't feel like a job often. It's like it's a labor of love. That's how I feel about it. And it's a big responsibility. So they're going to give everything they can for this this program, this university. So that I know it's a little the extra, and that's often the difference.
Is there any difference bringing in somebody like Tanner, who's graduated in the last 5 years, versus maybe somebody like O'Rourke, who was here before, was further in the past? Is it different having him come back a little sooner? I don't mean old, I just mean in terms of like they're adjusting to coaching in general when they're a little younger.
They're super hungry. Not that Danny is a learner. Yes, it's. I always feel like you got to make sure the players always know they can go to someone and connect. And Tanner and Jeremiah they're young, and the players they're more recently coming off careers. Again, the players forget I even played because I don't look like I can play anymore. So I just know me as a coach. So I do think that's important. Again, I wasn't said it had to be someone in their mid-20s, late 20s, but it fit. And I think the guys really enjoy that youth, and they keep me young. I mean, that's part of it. I have to continually to adapt and change some things, but within the framework that I'm comfortable. So the youth is exciting, and it's been good.
Were those two guys that, whether it was here or not, that when they played, you kind of pegged them like, oh, they could go into coaching someday?
Well, I mean, Tanner specifically is one that I knew probably would get into. Yes, the way his IQ was as a player, he thought the game differently. He's been around his whole life through his family. So yes, I felt like Tanner. And then Jeremiah's been one that he'll probably move into the executive space. So this is a perfect way for him to kind of get his hands wet with administrative work, and yet he's a great influence in these guys. He was proverbially kind of like the best teammate you could have, and so he's a role model in everything he does, as Tanner was certainly one that guys looked up to, but Jeremiah in particular. So I think the guys will rub off and pick up things from both of them, and that's great, and they'll both be helpful.
Good time for one more.
I was just interested, unrelated to the match actually. Banners are down for Little Five. Trev, are you, the team, plan anything for Little Five next week?
No, I mean, we play Friday, and then obviously the guys can be students and enjoy the race. I might be recruiting, so I don't know if I'll be here for the race, but I really enjoy the race. I've gone since I was a little kid. But yeah, it's got a good vibe to it. It's a fun couple weeks. And, the staff did a great job kind of retrofitting the field back to pretty normal, obviously, except all the extra bleachers. So yeah, I'm excited for the race. Hopefully the weather cooperates and students have a blast.
It's supposed to be beautiful next weekend.
Yeah, it should be.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.